what am I looking forward to? Game, dude. Let's get this out of the way. 2023 has the best lineup of games in the past 5 years, hands down, by indie developers, by first party developers, by third party developers, and that games that are going to it is the sequel year. Let's get this out there. That is the year of the sequels and remakes. This is it. You had Resident Evil 4 remake. You're going to get Elden Ring DLC. There's Pikmin 4. There's Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, the Breath of the Wild sequel. You had Darkest Dungeon 2, which was an indie game. You have Hollow Knight's expansion pack that's supposed to be coming out this year. What else came out early on? Dead Space came out early on this year, which is another remake game that came out. Oh man, I'm gonna say, like, because Tears of the Kingdom came out early this year, that there's a chance for a new Mario game to land before the end of the year. Like, I think that would be crazy. But now that this came out so early, Nintendo usually likes to hit with a first party thing near the end of the year to really bump sales for Christmas. What else landed? The Metroid Prime 1 remake just landed out of nowhere. There was like the talk about it, and it just dropped out of nowhere. That was a great remake that a lot of people loved. Man, like, I feel like there's that this year, that month after month, congruently is going to just keep surpassing itself on how good these games get. And like, what's some other games that are coming? Like, I know Darkest Dungeon, which is not for everybody, but it's definitely one of my top 10 favorite games of all times. And the dynamic of how the game works is a lot different in the second one. But you have to give it to developers that they're taking a chance at something new. Whether you like it or not, or the community doesn't like it, maybe that's the direction that the developers want to go in and give it a try. If they don't try and they always stick to doing the same thing, what do people say? This is just a hashed remake. This is just something that they wanted to cash grab on. Does it not make a lot of sense to give it a try? Give it a real effort into building something. It's their property and it's their game. When Wind Waker came out, people hated Nintendo for the cartoony graphic style that it went to. But now it's revered as one of the greatest artistic games ever made. When Breath of the Wild came out, people hated all the mechanics of it. And it got Game of the Year and the second best game ever created. And now Tears of the Kingdom is just building on the backbone of that. And where people hate the growth ideas, I think you have to try new things always as a game developer to try to nail what you're trying to get. Where Diablo 2 was so revered and successful, and how much Diablo 3 was so different, people loved it and some people hated it. And Diablo 4, from what I've heard, is the fine, refined mix in the middle. And sometimes that's what it takes. So, you also got Diablo 4 this year. Dude, you got Street Fighter 6 this year. I think they're making the remake of Mortal Kombat 1. Where you're getting new games, you're also getting beautiful remasters this year. If you couldn't tell that 2023 made up the great, we're halfway through the year. We're in June. And the first 6 months of this year cries out and beats this by far. Beats last year by far. What you had last year in contention was Elden Ring, you had Callisto Protocol, you had God of War, Ragnarok, and you had, Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't think any of like the first party Nintendo games. I think there was one, right? The Mario Rabbids, the new one, Sparks of Hope. I think that was the only one in contention to even try to go for an award that year by Nintendo. That's rough, man. The output was brutal, and the only talk was it Elden Ring or was it God of War? That was it. It was just those two, by far, hands down. And Elden Ring ended up taking it, and God of War took every other thing from the stage. What I'm getting at with this year is that every single month, you can find yourself finding something new or a remaster of something old to dive in and enjoy. And I think for a lot of people, that's been a long time coming in the world of gaming. I don't think I've had a year like this where I've been like, I have to save up every month because I'm not buying 3 games or 5 games. I have a lot of retro stuff. I have a lot of gaming in the game room here. But I never find myself being like, how many new games am I going to get? Is it going to be 2 or 3 new games that get released and you might go into the game store and find a little bit of a hidden gem now and then on the shelf? This year is like every month. I had them noted on a calendar upstairs of when everything was dropping, and I was like, Jesus Christ, some of them are 3 weeks away from each other. Yeah, like there's Diablo 4. Hold on. Upcoming games for 2023 schedule. It also the 40K games. Warhammer 40K games. They've made like 3 of them this year. There's Darktide. There's the one that looks like the Diablo rebuild, and that game looks great. It's so good. Oh, man. I'm not into very much of the new Fire Emblem games, but January had Fire Emblem Engage. People hated it, but Forspoken came out. Dude, Hogwarts came out. How much more could you want out of this year? Oddballs came out. Oddballers came out. Yep. 007 GoldenEye came out on the Nintendo Switch again and the Xbox Series through the online. Dude, that's just in January. What else in February? I'm scrolling through because like there's so much in this year. Yep, Metroid Prime Remaster came out in February. Hogwarts Legacy came out in February. Returnal for PlayStation 5. Oh no, Returnal came out on PC. That was almost a release game, Returnal. Oh man. What else? Kirby came out. Dude, I played 70 hours into Octopath Traveler 2, and that came out in February. How did I forget that? Octopath Traveler 2, phenomenal, brilliant HD 2D HD game. Brilliant masterclass of a RPG game. Masterclass. And by how much is out there, I forgot it existed. Okay. Resident Evil 4 Remake came out in March. So 1 month later came that. Forza Horizon 5 DLC. So more racing stuff came out if you like racing games. Come on, hold on. Dude, didn't Final Fantasy 15 drop as well? At some point? Tell me that Final Fantasy... Dead Island 2! Another sequel. Another sequel. Like, all the sequels. Octopath Traveler 2. Dead Island 2. Like, all these sequel games. People hated it. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm reading for the first half of the year. Half. Final Fantasy 16. Thank you for correcting me on that. Final Fantasy 16 comes out this year. May 5th, Hogwarts Legacy. May 8th, Darkest Dungeon 2. May 12th, so within 12 days, Tears of the Kingdom. Within 12 days, to me, 3 heavy hitters drop. Warhammer 40k, Bolt Gun, May 24th. Like, and now we're into June, and you got Street Fighter. You got Diablo 4. You're going to have Aliens Descent, Dark Descent, which looks cool. Final Fantasy 16, you were right, comes out June 22nd. Yep, near the end of this month. I almost don't want to look at next month. Pikmin 4, July 21st. A month away. Pikmin 4 comes out. August. Let's look. Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. Dude. FromSoft's Armored Core 6. Fires of Rubicon. August. We're not even into the months of Christmas and stuff like that. Like, oh my god. September, Starfield comes out. I don't think anybody's gonna like sell their PS5s to get an Xbox to play Starfield, but Starfield's supposed to be really big. Early access, September 15th, Mortal Kombat 1. Lords of the Fallen comes out in October 13th. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the best-selling PlayStation 4 game they ever made because it sold over 20 million copies. Again, goddammit, the sequel, Spider-Man 2, is coming out this year. And that came out when PlayStation 4 first launched. The sequel is finally coming out this year in October. Let's look at to be announced December. You know, I'm not even going to look at that. Because there's also the game that's the... You know what? I'm done. Dude, what am I looking forward to this year? I'm looking forward to being broke and gaming my brains out for the next 5 years. The amount of good content that's coming out is outrageous. It's outrageous and almost unattainable. You have to work at a gaming place to keep up with this all. It's an incredible year. And the fight for the top 10 games this year is going to be mad. It's... Of course, if something comes out to beat this game, you'd be lucky. Hello.